Quick shout out to my Patreons who keep this channel going. You can join my Patreon down in the description below. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're reacting to the 16th episode of Moriarty the Patriot. This one's titled The Phantom of Whitechapel Act 2. I believe we're wrapping up with The Phantom of Whitechapel this time. I think Irene Adler got a special free act 1. I think this is going to be 2 acts for this one, at least I would assume so, to go back to the normal format that we've gone through with some of the other stories. But Irene Adler, you kind of have to give her extra screen time, and even transcending her into James Bond, which is still one of the most... I still can't believe they actually did that. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this Jack the Ripper story. I love the idea, like, Jack the Ripper is such an interesting character from history that you can have so many interpretations of it, and I really like the way they're going with this one. So, before we even get into the Jack the Ripper side of things, Sebastian Moran is not really accepting Bond at the moment, which is kind of understandable considering the times. And really Bond, or Irene Adler as they actually are, needs to learn a few things, and that's kind of what William sends them to do, also fulfilling another purpose. He sends them to get a safe deposit box, right as there's a robbery being planned, or actually being commenced, I should say. And obviously the robbery was staged and set up so that William can teach them a lesson in how to react, come up with a plan, come up with a good way to divert attention so we don't get Sherlock involved, obviously, because Sherlock is the biggest issue when it comes to leaving clues and identities as to who was behind certain actions. So we need to make sure we fool him as well. I don't think pinning it on the police officer was necessarily a good choice, because I don't think Sherlock would ever believe that one lone officer like that, especially one like him, could have done that. But hey, you never know. But we actually did need the safe deposit box whilst we were at it. It's not just a case of, oh, it was all a setup just so that you could learn something. We actually did need that safe deposit box because it contained the knives and weapons for the actual Jack the Ripper, which is... what was his name? Jack Renfield. A British Army assassin, close quarter combat, hence the knives. And he was the teacher and the master, essentially, to the Moriarty brothers when they were learning to fend for themselves, learning how to kill, because obviously you need to know how to kill effectively and efficiently if you're going to get away with some of the ideas that they have growing up. So we actually have the real Jack the Ripper, whose moniker has been taken by whoever is committing these murders. And they seem to be doing it for a purpose of some description. Moriarty, William, deduces that it's probably not just one psycho going around killing prostitutes. It's probably a group with a specific goal. And I'm going to guess that goal has to do with the conflict between the citizens, who are forming like a vigilante mob to bring Jack the Ripper to justice, and the police, who don't really care about catching the killer anymore, but just suppressing the mob. And so it's becoming citizen versus police conflict. And I think that's what they're trying to fuel for whatever purpose. I guess to stage their own little mini revolution. They probably have some gripe with the police system, if I had to guess. I mean, take your pick as to what gripe you want with the police system from history. I mean, there's plenty of options out there. I mean, even current times, like, we're still having these debates about the police system. So, yeah, you can see where some truth can be had in a little bit of this. So, fortunately, this one doesn't seem to be racially charged. At least, doesn't appear to be. I don't think race has become an issue so far in any of the stories of this, have it. I guess that wouldn't be... At this time in history, late 1800s... I don't think people would be really too outspoken about it right now. I mean, Britain was kind of progressive, kind of. I think by this point, had we abolished slave trade by this point? I think we had. Like, the British and the whole thing about slave trade and thus racial tensions, there's a lot to unpack there that I really am not knowledgeable enough about, and I should really educate myself better on. I'm surprised that that sort of thing isn't taught more in the education system. Like, really, like, we learn about a lot about like ancient history and stuff. Like I remember learning about like when I was young, I learned about like Alexander the Great and all this, and a lot of the focus is on World War II. Just because such a huge event, there's so much to learn about it from history perspective. I'm surprised more modern history isn't taught about race, and I'm surprised a lot of the slave trade stuff isn't taught about in Britain. Maybe that's changed since I've left school, but just kind of curious about that. Anyway, that's completely off topic. We're going to get into this episode, so as per usual, these are timer-based format reactions here on YouTube. If you want to see the full Patreon picture, you can go to my Patreon down in the description below. £4 a month gets access to all Patreon reactions I do on the channel, which is everything from the current seasonal lineup, as well as Patreon request shows such as World Trigger, Log Horizon Season 2, which we're starting this week, and Sympho Gear G. We also have movie reactions with the current poll for movies up right now, so you can vote on which movie you'd like me to watch this season. We've got 2 new additions to the current lineup as well, in the form of Kiki's Delivery Service, Classic Ghibli, as well as the recently released Love Me, Love Me Not, which I'm quite interested in because it's a romance movie. And, I'm a sucker for romance stuff. But yeah, here on YouTube we have to do timer-based, so bottom left of the screen you'll see a timer for the episode. I count down 3, 2, 1, play. Then play you start the episode, I start the episode, and we should be in sync. We'll watch this one on Funimation, as per usual, since they're the ones who licensed it. We have the Bandai visual logo, and then we have the Funimation logo. So that's about 11 seconds logos, give or take. You can use the screen flash on my face, the mic, or this part of my headset as well to tell when the scenes are transitioning. That should help you sync it up as well. And with all that said, let's get into this week's episode, shall we? In 3, 2, 1, play. It's Bandai Visual. Funimation. Cheers. Here we go. Long fading as per usual. Okay. Right. Yep. I don't know if that's accurate to the very first killing or not, but yep, that sounds about right. So completely different. Mm-hmm. Another one turned up dead. Someone claimed credit. Yeah. I thought it was just stylized. I didn't realize he actually did it. Holy shit. Wow. Actually surprised at that. I thought he'd latch onto the idea of trying to catch a serial killer. Maybe it's because it doesn't seem to have any connection to Moriarty. Or the Lord of Crime, I should say. He doesn't know it's Moriarty yet. Yet. I wonder if he'll catch on by the end of the series. I mean, the end of this OP kind of implies they might. Mycroft. There's Jack the Ripper, the actual one. Bond in the background. I don't think Bond was always there, so that's a nice touch to add her in. Or him in, I suppose, at this point. Alright. Organized crime, yep. Right. Mm-hmm. Whip up fear. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Insight revolution. Well. Well. Mm-hmm. So we gotta make sure we find them before that next murder. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Even worse if a cop shows up dead. That would really become a problem. Oh, it's just a cat. Isn't there a saying about a black cat crossing your path that's like bad luck? Oh boy, two more. Oh boy. But before it can kick off, public display. Holy shit. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not actually killing people. I'm surprised he went to that length. Well, he is trying to do this for the people, so. Okay. Weapon freak, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're just buying time. This is Jack the Ripper we're talking about, though. Quite the ask. As expected, though, right? Oh shit, they did finally shoot. Nice. Many times better. Nice. Some damn good accuracy. Oh. This is our weapon nut, I guess. Was his name Herder? That's pretty insane. There's more coming from the alley. Mm-hmm. Get that thing ready? The hell are we going to be doing? We throwing up like a net or something? The hell is this? Oh, Jesus! Jesus! Holy fuck. What a waste of ammo. You're gonna overheat. You're gonna overheat and run out of ammo. It should disable itself. Hmm? Got an idea? The fuck? That's ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. uh... Nice to see him getting on, though. Being observed. What the hell's this? Mm-hmm. They're struggling at this point. Okay. Nice. Hmm. Got the hour. Quite the meeting. Holy shit. Health has been deserted? What? Oh boy. That's the most ominous they've looked. Holy shit. Lord of crime? Well, no, we're not. We're not using the innocent. That's where we disagree. We disagree on that fact. Mm-hmm. How are you any better? How are you any better than those above you already? Now they have no regrets killing them. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. They've been well trained. The boats? Yeah, that's not going to work out. Please have a blade driven through your head. Come on, be brutal about it. No, I'm not even going to give him a mercy kill. We're going to blow the boat up. We're going to blow it all up. Holy shit. That's beautiful. No, you're not. Mission over. All according to plan. Holmes will definitely want to arrive now. Okay, so he wasn't involved. He's just a prying eye. Okay. Okay, setting up a new antagonist, I guess. Milverton? Okay. Milverton? I don't recognize that name. Milverton. Mm-hmm. 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 For the crime. Doesn't like that. Okay. Setting up our next story, I guess. Wonder what it's gonna be called. If I can get a hint of what's going on now. It was a good one. I like the conclusion of that. We've set up our new antagonist as well for the rest of this season. Or at least for the next arc. I don't know if it'll be that consistent. Milverton. Her name still doesn't ring a bell. And I don't want to look it up either, just because if they are going to take from Milverton from the source material or not. Because I'm fairly certain Milverton's probably going to be mentioned in a Sherlock story. As I said at the very beginning of this series, I'm not like a super Sherlock nerd about this. Like, I've never gone through and read all the short stories or anything. I know some of the more famous ones thanks to adaptations, like movies and TV series. Like the BBC series is my main knowledge. And even that I know is like there's liberties taken to change things up and stuff, so I don't know the source material. But some things like Irene Adler, you know, Jack the Ripper, I don't think was a story in Sherlock, but I know Jack the Ripper. Alright. After credits. Okay. Okay. Alright. Next time. The riot in New Scotland Yard. The riot in New Scotland Yard, huh? It doesn't ring a bell. It doesn't ring a bell. Now, I know it says New Scotland Yard, but Scotland Yard is called New Scotland Yard, but no one says the new bit anymore. Like, no one says New Scotland Yard. It's just like, oh, it's Scotland Yard. So, I think New Scotland Yard is the actual name for it, but no one says new. So, the riot in Scotland Yard, a divide in the police system, implying maybe Milverton has something to do with the police system. There was, I think someone Milverton-looking-esque in there. Kind of. Let's go back for a second. No, it wasn't. That's Milverton there with the... He has curly white hair. The person in the police did not have that design. Bond's going to be involved. Looked like Mycroft was involved, which makes sense. There's Lestrade. So yeah, we've got... So it looks like it might be focused on a bit more of Lestrade's actions as well. They were in the evidence room by the looks of things. Looks like Bond's going to be more active as well. Okay. Which makes sense. Maybe this is how they introduced Bond to the police. Because, I mean, Bond was always... Bond is a spy. He works for MI5, right? Wait, was Bond MI5? I always get the wrong. Is Bond MI5? Was it MI6? MI6. Yeah, MI6. MI5 is internal security, MI6 is military intelligence. So yeah, yeah, so Bond is always associated with like MI6 and therefore intelligence stuff, so would be familiar to maybe like Scotland Yard to an extent as well. So maybe they are going to try and introduce Bond as that, have a double agent essentially. I don't know if that's necessarily the direction they're going in, but the riot in New Scotland Yard would imply there is a divide in the police. I mean, we just had a situation there. We also saw... We did see what looked like the police chief a bit angry at the outcome of what was published in the Londoner and the conclusion of the Jack the Ripper stuff. So it's possible maybe they had a stake in this as well. I don't think so, but they seem to be disgruntled at something. Maybe about Sherlock. Maybe they're a bit annoyed at Sherlock being the reason why everything's getting solved rather than Scotland Yard being the ones to do it. And it's like he's constantly being upstaged by Sherlock. Where is that character? Because I feel like I should recognize him. It's not Lestrade. It's not Jefferson Hope. Jefferson Hope was part 1. I don't think they're a named character, unfortunately, on this. It's a shame. Unless they were mentioned in part 1. I think they were in part 1, so I feel like I should be able to find them. Maybe not. I feel like we've introduced that character before, but it's just not named anywhere. Yeah, I just can't find him anywhere. That's not him. No, I feel like we did introduce another... police officer that was like very negative to Lestrade at some point. I'm going to assume it was either that one guy that I'm thinking of, where he's like the chief of Scotland Yard, and maybe that's where they're going with it. Something like that. I am so tempted to look up Milverton. I am so tempted just to see what the name Milverton throws up. But I feel like that's cheating. I feel like that would be cheating. Even if they're not going for strictly what they would. Because Irene Adler as far as I remember, was never linked to the French Revolution. And Robespierre was never a Holmes family member. Like, that was never, like, a thing. So this show really does find its own way to use the history and make it its own, but I don't want to look at Milverton. I'm going to assume that it's not an anime-only character. I'm going to assume it is someone from the Sherlock novels, but not a clue. Like, I don't even remember, what was his name? Herder? Is that his name? Where is he? Yeah, this weapons guy. I don't even remember him being mentioned at any point. But yeah, we're setting up the next arc, I guess. Interestingly, this one's not called Act 1, though. So this is either going to be its own standalone little story, which we haven't had since episode 5. It's either just going to be a standalone story, or it's just a setup episode, like episode 1 was, where episode 1 just set up the idea of, hey, this is Moriarty, this is the style he does and why he does it. Now we give you the backstory as to how it happens. And if I remember correctly from what Q told me, episode 1 was anime, like, original, or was out of order. I can't remember which one they said. I think they said it was an anime original one, and then the actual manga itself started with Scarlet Eyes and the backstory of the Moriarty family. But yeah, I'm just going to assume it's either a setup episode or it's its own standalone mini-mystery. But I think it's more likely to be set up since we just seem to have introduced a new antagonist to the series. So I guess we'll see, but I'm loving this series as per usual. One of my favorite series of recent times as well. Like, I just love it. Like, it's so British as well, and it's actually genuinely British as well, which I think is the one of the biggest plus points of it. Like, it's very easy to be stereotypical of another nation. Like, it's very easy to be stereotypical British in how you portray them. But when your whole series is set in that environment, you have to kind of get the vibe right, so people believe it actually is that. And they're nailing it. Like, they genuinely are. That fucking Gatling gun, though, was insane. But yeah, we would have that in the military. I don't know if they would have been able to just get a Gatling gun on such short notice, but for the sake of the story, we'll allow it. I mean, we just shot a bullet off of a coin that we kicked from a rooftop into the barrel of a Gatling gun as it's spinning. I will suspend a bit of disbelief as to how they got the Gatling gun. So, yeah. Love this series. Absolutely love this series. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one as well. Leave a like if you did, as well as your comments what you thought of the episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe as well to see next week's episode, as well as the rest of the Spring 2021 lineup you can find here on the channel. Thank you for watching. Till next time. See you guys later.